Okay, now I think you can see now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you take this. Explain the following: fracture toughness, stress intensity factor, modes of crack displacement, limitations of LEFM. Okay. Noted down, huh? Explain the following: fracture toughness, stress intensity factor, modes of crack displacement, and the limitations of linear elastic fracture mechanics. Okay, noted? Finished, huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay, write in the sheet, okay, and you can submit it directly without again repeating it. Right, huh? So now we'll go to that part now. Okay, so what we have to see is that. So modes of crack displacement. Okay, so these are not required. This we gone through. Modes of crack displacement. Okay, so mode 1, mode 2, mode 3. So in mode 1, it will um, pull the crack open in tension. Then in mode 2, shear the crack in plane. And mode 3 is shear or tear it out of plane. Okay, so these are the modes of crack displacement, and most of the fracture mechanics research is on mode 1. Okay, that is about mode 1, mode 2, and mode 3. And maybe you will get again mode 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it's not okay. Okay, so what you can do is note down, depending upon the modes of crack displacement is the heading. Note down the sketch here: mode 1, mode 2, mode 3, and right, depending on the orientation of the loading versus crack, the applied loads may tend to pull the crack open, shear the crack in plane, shear or tear it out of plane, and the entire thing. Okay, this entire slide you please write. Include first you write the sketches, and then you write the description. Okay,
Yes, sir.
yeah, please complete it now. Are you able to see the slide?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Write the description, whatever that I have typed now. I've taken a little more from, in mode one. So it is typical of uniaxial loaded components. Shear is, of course, the shafts under torsion. Okay, they are subjected to the shear stress induced in shear stress. So that is typical of a notched bar loaded in torsion is mode 3. And in many cases, you will have combination of these okay modes of failure. And mostly, finally, it all leads to mode 1. Note down the sketches clearly, because in future your thesis can be in this area of fracture mechanics. I think you had fracture mechanics subject only, no? Last semester.
Yes, sir.
Then I think you know all these things, better way.
You have studied about this.
Okay. Remember, you can remember?
Yes, sir.
Fine, fine. Then I think I could have skipped this. Anyway, let it be there. Mithun Sandesh Sukrut. So again, more number left. If you are finished, we'll go to stress intensity factor, K. Finished with this?
Yes, sir.
Finished.
Yes, sir.
Finished. Next, we will go to stress intensity factor. Okay. All three of you finished? Sandesh and Sukrut?
I have finished, sir.
Okay. So we'll come to, we don't take stress intensity factor as it is. I need to add little more into this. So stress intensity factor, one important thing is not to be get confused with stress concentration factor that we have studied in our UG. First thing I wanted to make is that, okay, so this is not to be confused with that of stress concentration factor, which is the ratio of maximum stress to nominal stress, right? So don't confuse. Stress intensity factor is different, stress concentration factor is different, though both are represented by K, first thing. And now here we have got a plate of width 2b, which is enormous, and then the crack width of 2a. This is the crack width 2a in the center. The crack is assumed to be sharp at its ends. Okay, so like this, it is assumed to be sharp at the ends, something like this, right? So B is much larger as compared to A. That is, it is an infinite plate with a small crack, which has got which is sharp at its edge. And an r theta pole in a polar coordinate system is set up. So xy is Cartesian coordinate system, r theta is polar coordinate system to take care of the spherical coordinates of the crack propagation. Okay. So from the theory of linear elasticity, so the sigma x, sigma y, and tau are in terms of k. That is, these values depends upon the value of k. Okay, and the stresses diminish rapidly as r increases. Angle theta defines the geometric distribution of stresses around the crack tip. So around the crack tip, okay, this theta will represent around the crack tip what angles the crack propagation will take place, and these values of stresses depends upon the value of k. So therefore the k is called stress intensity factor, or it is also called stress field parameter. That is, it is also called, or it is called stress field parameter. Okay, stress field parameter. And so this is what is a stress intensity factor. And then they arrived at, that is both Irwin and others, okay, Irwin and Griffith, they arrived at an expression for k, which is given by sigma nominal multiplied by square root of pi into length of crack. Is that okay? And also, for any radius of r and theta, the stress rate in the plastic zone at crack tip is directly proportional to stress intensity factor. Okay, so this is about stress intensity factor, not to be confused with what? Stress concentration factor. I'll just put that, just hold on for a while. So here, okay, could you understand now what is stress intensity factor is? Because the stress values depends upon the value of K, which is called stress intensity factor, or it is also called stress field parameter, which is essentially given by nominal stress multiplied by root of pi into crack length. Okay, so write down this much. Write the sketch. Okay, coordinates 2A, 2B, and crack tip, which is a sharp. Can you see the slide clearly? Yeah? Can you see the slide?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is the write-up visible?
Yes, sir.
I have added on what factors the value of stress intensity factor depends. So just now I typed it. Okay. So note down that also.
Yes, sir.
I put those things here. Anyway, take that also. In LEFM concepts only, I brought again stress intensity factor. Probably I should bring them here also. Now, once you finish this page, you please let me know. Write the sketch and then let me know. I'll add little more into here only on stress intensity factor. Finished with this? Finished, Mithun?
Yes, sir.
You did not tell me only.
Yes, sir.
I told you to tell no after completion. Okay. Yeah. Continue with this. I'll add a little more into this now. Um, the elastic normal and elastic. You do one thing. Okay, these things I can bring it to here. Yeah, can you see the change?
Yes, sir.
What you do is note down the sketch, because this sketch is very relevant for noting down these values of elastic and shear stress equations. Okay, so what you do is note down the sketch, because again that is required again elsewhere, so therefore I have to take it in two places now. Okay, so please take down the stress intensity factor. We started over here, and then a typical small piece is taken over here, and then sigma x, sigma y, and tau xy are defined over here. Okay, so then we take the equations for sigma x, sigma y, and tau xy, right? So these elastic normal and elastic shear stresses, that sigma x, sigma y, tau xy, they depend upon the value of r, theta, and k. And what will happen is at what particular point, it entirely depends upon the value of stress intensity factor K. So therefore, stress K is called stress intensity factor or stress field factor. Is that okay? Are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now it will be in a systematic way. So please take down the sketch, and then this is a crack length, crack A, length of length L. This is R, and this is theta. This is XY Cartesian, and this is the curve. So sigma x, a small component is taken in the vicinity of the crack. So this is the crack vicinity. Near the vicinity, a small element is taken, and the normal, elastic normal, and shear stresses are defined with the equations, which depends upon the value of r, theta, and k. Is that okay? That is how. So it is. Maybe this will be better over here and picture there. Because this, after this, you will get equations. If you are finished with the sketch and this, then we'll go to the next slide. You say yes. Don't wait for me to ask. Okay?
Okay, sir. Finished, sir.
Okay. So these are the equations for normal and shear stresses. Okay. which depends upon r and theta and k, and therefore it is called a stress intensity factor because at a given point these values entirely depend upon the value of k because k is directly proportional to sigma x, sigma y, and also tau xy. So this is k divided by this. This is 1 by k by root 2 pi r, then multiplied by. So these things will come in numerator. Okay. Cos theta by 2 of 1 minus sin theta by 2 into sin 3 theta by 2 and so on will come in numerator. Okay. K by 2 pi r into this. Maybe if I put this way, it will be more less confusing. I'll put one square bracket here. Square bracket.
Yes, sir.
Finished, huh?
Yes, sir.
Write this much. The high stresses near the crack tip cause local yielding and create plastic zone of radius r. So for any radius r and angle theta, the stress rate in the plastic zone, crack tip is directly proportional to stress intensity factor k. So if b is large, then k is equal to root of pi into crack length. So just note down this much. Stress state, that is sigma x, sigma y, and tau xy. Okay. So I think better we put that here. Huh? So stress state, that is sigma x, sigma y, and tau xy. Okay. Control C. Okay, so the stress rates, these values are directly proportional to stress intensity factor K. That is visible in the equations that we have taken over there. Is it over with this?
Yes, sir.
Finished, huh? So tomorrow we will take up the remaining three, that is fracture toughness, limitations of LEFM, and so on. Okay, is that fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay then.